right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Greetings for the Garden State, powered by the New Jersey Lottery. I'm your host, Mike Ham. We're here at the Berkeley, so special shout out to them for hooking us up with this dope-ass room.
We got a chandelier.
Yeah, the chandelier's cool.
We have a chandelier.
Johnny Cash in the back.
Is that him?
Yeah, Johnny Cash actually has a lot of history here at the Berkeley.
Is that true?
Yeah, he owned the top floor of the Berkeley. Like when he would come through this area, he just would reserve all the suites upstairs. Like that was Johnny Cash's spot. So if you go, remember when we did the cheer event? Yeah. Down this hall, there's a wall that has all Johnny Cash pictures. Okay. And it's because of that. How random is that? That's
pretty sick.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Well, we're with Matty Carlock.
We are
Matty,
far from Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Well, not yet.
We'll see.
But so welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. We did it the first time just very briefly.
Yep. In
the other room. And maybe the next time we do it, we'll just have the whole floor.
Yeah,
we
keep upgrading.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we'll do it when it's nice out, we'll do it from the roof or something. That'd be cool.
We just keep progressing into Johnny Cash territory.
Yeah, right. Next time we'll be second floor, but on not the ocean side. Then we'll make it to ocean side, and then we'll just keep going up the floors. Yeah. We met at the What a Wonderful Year cheer event. You played that night, which was awesome.
Thank you.
That was the first time I've ever seen you play.
Thank you.
Live.
That was a very interesting day because I didn't have a guitar and I didn't have any songs.
Oh.
Because I just right before I got on the plane to come back here, I wrote and memorized all new songs.
Okay.
Even though I just put an EP out.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring my guitar home. It was just one of those situations where I'm
well, I feel at that place, you're going to know that you're going to run into somebody with a guitar.
Yeah, it was just hilarious. Yeah. Just no guitar. And I was like, I guess I should probably play my record that people in Asbury Park the one with Jared Hart and Jesse Malin and Danny and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know those songs. And I don't even have a guitar.
Yeah.
So I got a guitar and I got there an hour before I played, and we sat in the back next to the freezer and learned the songs.
Yeah.
And then, okay, we have the songs, and then got on stage and played this set. It was very funny. It was just learn the songs.
Sure. Play them in front of
the
full house.
Right now.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Yeah.
From what I was told, which is...
Oversold. I don't know if we can say that. If
oversold. Is that illegal? I don't know.
But it was sold out.
Yes, it was pretty cool. It was awesome. Yeah. It was very fast.
I thought it was cool. So I saw you guys because I came backstage for a little bit because Tony's my girl. We always hang out every time that I'm there. She's the one that runs the back. The Wonder Bar.
Yeah.
So because we put on a show there in November when we became friendly, and then she was telling me all about her life, which is I should have her on the show honestly because it's wild.
Yeah.
But I saw you guys in the back, and I didn't really know what you were doing. I just felt this musician shit. You know? And then I thought your set was really cool and unique because obviously, that night everybody that got up on stage murdered. It was every single band was awesome. Mm-hmm. Bands I knew, bands I've seen play before. That was one of the best sets I've ever seen them play. Other people like yourself, never seen you play, but it was holy shit, this is the best.
Thank you.
But then you had other people join you, Bobby Mahoney came up there. I know Palm came up there real quick with
Bulletproof
the cowbell.
Belf.
Yep.
That was kind of
awesome.
my. Well, anytime I usually play. We had a good 4-year run at the Stone Pony.
Yeah.
Right before the pandemic, where it sold out every year, and it was me supporting Jesse Malin, and I would just I don't know what it is. I think it comes from hardcore. When I would play hardcore shows when I was a kid, we would just always pass the mic around and people would do guest spots and stuff. Yeah. And same in the hip hop community. That's pretty relevant. And that just always stuck with me. So I was for this show, I want to bring back that community. And Jared wasn't around to sing punks that had enough. And Bobby did it 1 year with me at one of the Jesse Malin shows. And he smoked it. I was let's do it again. But let's since we're on this side stage and it's just acoustic, let's make it as intense as possible,
Yeah.
like a punk hardcore show, because all those shows are usually on the floor.
Sure.
And there's like hundreds of people, but it's a floor show.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, how can we finesse the fact that I'm just playing an acoustic guitar in the corner of the room,
right,
and not on a big stage,
yeah,
and kind of like make it like this moment. I was like, let's fucking run it.
Yeah.
Yes, every single song. Let's get a rapper up there. Let's do Dark City Lights with Belv. Bobby will come, and Jared and Palm. We did Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to have somebody come and do Geraldine, but I don't know. I don't think it worked. Obviously, it didn't work out because we didn't do it. But yeah. But I didn't know any of these songs like 20 minutes before we even played. So it was a miracle.
Yeah, well,
that we even got on the goddamn
I saw
stage.
One of the, I think it was like a clip from the Atlantic, at least the Atlantic City one, and you got to like one. I mean, like everyone knows Atlantic City, but they just know like Meet Me in, like that part. And then you got to like one of the verses, and you were like, I don't know this one. And then somebody else was like, they yelled it out, and you're like, oh yeah. And then you just kept going with it. That was great.
What was really
DIY stuff?
Yeah, what was really funny is during that. I couldn't really hear anything. I was standing on that little thing with the monitors, and all I heard the entire song was Joe Palm smashing that cowbell. In my ear. That's all. I couldn't hear my vocals. I couldn't hear.
Yeah.
And I just ding.
Yeah.
Dang.
Listen, he gets
it. It was
into
amazing.
Yeah.
It was so punk.
Yeah.
It was so sick.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first day that you and I met. And so kind of like listening to more of your music now. We added a bunch of your stuff to the radio station page and all that. So like all our DJs have access to it. But I want to know more about you. So you don't live in Jersey now. You live in LA.
Los Angeles. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that going okay for you right now? It's not like on fire?
Oh, with the fires. It probably is. I mean, I live right under Runyon Canyon.
Okay.
So the Sunset fires were really bad. And where my building is that I live in was in the evacuation zone, but at the very end of the evacuation zone.
Okay.
So if that fire got any worse, totally would have lost my apartment, car, everything.
Yeah.
But I did bring my good hard drive back to New Jersey. So if everything went up in flames, I have my album still. I have my client work and everything on my hard drive.
Yeah, smart.
You know what I mean? So I was like, fuck it. At least I got this.
Right.
They could take the car. They can, but yeah, as far as I'm aware, everything's kind of I'm pretty lucky where I'm at. I'm at the very end of it.
Yeah, for sure, which is great.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. But you grew up in this area.
Grew up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that experience? So how old are you?
I'm 34.
Oh, me too. Okay, so we're the same age. Yeah. What was it like growing up in this area in the 90s, being a 90s baby here in the Asbury Park area?
Wow, that's pretty. I've never been asked that.
Really?
That's
a crazy question.
Yeah, I've never been asked that. Music, immediately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're just like immersed in it pretty much.
Yeah, my mom is a pretty serious Springsteen fan.
Okay.
But like for real.
Sure.
Not like these people who are here now.
She knows all the words to Atlantic City.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But not only that, she if he was practicing there, she would be out there.
Okay.
Listening to the practices, like back in the day when he would practice at Convention Hall.
Yeah.
She would travel around to all the concerts and stuff. Pretty sure she had her bachelorette party at the Stone Pony with her friends and stuff.
So she's a ride or die.
Yeah, Springsteen was the religion. A lot of my uncles and stuff were musicians. She was a piano player, but my dad's a pretty serious union worker, blue collar guy. They're both from Staten Island, New York, so we have the Irish Italian.
Sure.
You can picture that household growing up.
Totally.
Yeah. Amazing, but also a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get used to it, and you get outside that house, and you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah. I'm a little aggressive.
Yeah. I got some sharp edges.
Yeah, I'm kind of rubbing people the wrong way
here. So mom's a big Bruce Springsteen fan. Dad's a blue collar guy.
Looked exactly like Bruce, building cars in the drive, old 50s cars, built getting old 50s cars that are broken. I don't even know the word for it, and then I don't know anything about cars, and then fixing them up, watching them fix them up when I was growing up, and then just like flipping them. Always in car shows. Like it literally is like Eddie and the Cruisers, the movie. Like, would go to the shore down in Seaside, Chadwick Beach, every year with like my cousins and my friends and stuff. So we saw that side. But growing up in elementary school, I was babysat. This is like a vital thing. I was babysat by my mom's best friend. Her name is Judy. Judy's oldest son in the basement had a hardcore band.
Okay.
So I'm in like 3rd, 4th grade going over there and just seeing punks and hardcore kids.
Yeah.
And this is right when Thursday started bubbling up and like Club Chrome was like a thing.
Yeah.
And they would play with Thursday and like very, very early My Chem and stuff. So I'm like 3rd, 4th grade around like these kind of like sneaking down there and seeing these iconic figures and just feeling this energy. Yeah. And it was off to the races.
Formative years kind of thing.
Yeah, and I was off to the races from there.
Yeah.
And by 2004, I was roadieing for like hardcore bands.
Okay.
Yeah, which I think it was 7th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, leaving and getting in a van and going to Hellfest and stuff like that.
So what, like, I'm curious. So mom, music fan. Did she play music or just
piano?
More of like a fan.
Piano. She could play piano.
Okay.
She would be like, "This is a D chord," and this is
Was dad like, "What the fuck, Matty?" Like,
yeah, my dad. My dad.
Let's fix some cars, dude.
Yeah, dad was, but dad, he was just working a lot in all the 5 boroughs, delivering concrete and stuff.
Okay.
Wasn't around a lot because he was obviously providing for his family, and there's a commute involved and stuff. So it just kind of left me just like devouring records and just by myself. And then, you start meeting up with the freaks and start skateboarding. But like I found punk and hardcore like very, very early. So we're talking like I'm going to Philly, I'm going to Connecticut, I'm going to these different places, like going to hardcore shows.
That's Margot. She's the one that gave us the
amazing.
Room. Yeah. Which is crazy to think. So 2004.
I started hanging out here very early.
Okay.
Going to hardcore shows here at Club Deep across the street before it got shut down.
Yeah.
All the hardcore shows at the lanes and then the fast lanes next to it. And then the Stone Pony as well. Like we're talking like middle school.
Yeah. I mean, like you said 2004, I think. I mean, we were 14 years old, like doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, it becomes like a big part of your life early on. You're like probably the coolest kid in middle school.
No. No.
Okay. So on the cutting edge of punk rock, though, for sure. Yeah. When it came to everybody there.
Yeah. I wasn't really. Me and my friends were like, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't really even have memories of school at all to even know my relevance in like
the social hierarchy of
like we literally went to shows every single night in the tri-state and then skateboarded. Like we were just completely gone, I don't even know how I finished middle school. Like it was just a lot of tri-state traveling, skateboarding, getting into crazy shit, and just like ducking the law and graffiti. Yeah, it was a proper. Yeah, it was
living
amazing.
The life.
Yeah, it was really fucking amazing. Yeah, it was fucking amazing.
All in.
Yeah, we didn't want dad to be too home. You know what I mean?
Sure,
we got shit to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're taking over the world
graffiti
here.
to paint.
We don't need you home. We're in the freight yards in Sayreville.
Yeah, we're doing just fine. So punk, like you're doing all this stuff, and so then you start playing shows. What's like, you told me when we did the cheer show that you went from punk to folk, and so like at what point does that metamorphosis take place?
So this is where it gets a little hairy. Like for me,
I know you still have like a hand in pretty much everything, but
the first music I ever made with like my friends and stuff was hip hop music.
Okay.
So I like started making beats and I was an engineer like pretty early, like making beats and recording and like.
And you're just like teaching yourself how to do this stuff?
Yeah, like rapping with my friends. I had like mixtapes on like MySpace and stuff. Okay. And then but that kind of. I think the scene here in Asbury Park, and I don't know if you remember, but the scene in Red Bank was fucking huge. Like touring, like Live Nation shows would come through Red Bank and play like Internet Cafe and Chubby's, and like that whole downtown area was so rich of like, it's like, it was this before
Sure.
this got gentrified again.
Yeah, yeah.
So those shows, you could go in and see like a hardcore band, and then right after that band on the same bill, there's a rapper and then a folk musician, and like it was just like all mixed into one.
Yeah.
So from very early on, I was kind of doing all of these things at once, and so I think that kind of like plugged into my head that no matter how deep into punk and hardcore I got, I didn't think I was almost wise enough to whatever degree to know that like Springsteen and Bob Dylan and stuff like that was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Music appreciation.
Yeah, like
it may not be like your thing right now, but like, you understand.
I was always in the back of the van in my punk band listening to Dylan. Like a lot of the early lyrics of like my early hardcore bands that like people liked, I'm like ripping off Springsteen lyrics. Like I wore that shit proudly.
Sure.
For some reason, instead of running away from it, that a lot of other people did. So my point is though, like throughout touring and stuff and just being on the road a lot in these bands, I always had an acoustic guitar in the van, and I would just like fiddle in the back on like 18-hour drives to God fucking knows who. And we were on the road a lot. Like we literally left for years, like literally living at Walmart and like living in just crack dens and like meth houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would just always finger pick and play these folk songs.
Yeah. And were your buddies like, what the fuck, dude? Like, that's not punk.
The funny thing is about our band, we were definitely ass beaters. We were never bullies. We were ass beaters for sure.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much why the band didn't make it.
It's like hard to maintain.
Yeah. But we were romantics.
Sure.
Like the song, I was the singer and primarily the songwriter. So any aggressive music that I made, there were for the most part like very relatable love songs about what I was going through, because I really loved like American Nightmare. I really loved like Modern Life is War. I really loved storytelling of or Thursday. Like I always kept that emo lyric in it.
Yeah.
So they never were really like, what is this soft shit? Because we were kind of like softies.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Playing this really aggressive music, and that's why it kind of worked at the time.
Yeah.
So they got to a point though where it just kind of wasn't panning out. Like the genre was up and down, and we were playing to a lot of people, but the shows were getting more violent. So venues and tour packages and stuff were kind of like, it just put us in a very interesting spot.
Yeah.
And this, by the way, is before Spotify.
Okay.
And Instagram is kind of coming around.
It's pictures at that point.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
not like reels and music and all that kind of stuff.
So we're like literally just like driving around like the country for months.
Yeah.
And Canada, sleeping in parking lots in our van in blizzards and stuff, just to sell vinyl and cassettes. And a lot of people are coming to these shows, but there really wasn't like a, what do we?
Yeah, like a discernible momentum.
Yeah, nothing happened
like a
yet.
Level.
Yeah, like nothing happened yet. So it was just kind of like, so we sort of fizzled out. And I, at the time, this was also very, very pivotal. At the time, Gaslight Anthem started breaking.
Okay.
And now I'm starting to see where you kind of graduate into from hardcore.
Yeah.
All these dudes who are tough, hand tattoo, you know what I mean? My type of people that I looked up to.
Totally.
Oh, they're playing acoustic guitar now. Oh, this is a way to like, now the Bouncing Souls and like Lifetime, and the Clash, like this whole universe started opening up to people like us because of the Gaslight Anthem and like, obviously the Bouncing Souls. And obviously we knew of these people, but from growing up around here, but something clicked where I'm like, oh, this is kind of like a graduation into, this is how you do it. I didn't have the blueprint of moving forward.
Sure.
Post a hardcore band if you really love songs and you want to become a singer. Right. And by the way, I was not a singer. I was screaming into a microphone for 10 years. Yeah. I could not sing in key. There was all I knew was like smashing a microphone into my face until I bleed and yelling into it.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be a fucking singer with an acoustic guitar. Who the fuck do I think I am?
Exactly.
But I saw like Fallon, young Fallon,
sure.
people like Dave Haas and like the Bouncing Souls and like And I was like, oh, okay. They all know what hardcore is. They all come from hardcore.
Yeah.
And they're all playing hardcore shows. But okay, this is what I can do.
Yeah.
I just devoured that.
Which I think is really interesting too, because, and I didn't realize, I mean, I knew to a degree, but like as you're telling the story, like how into every kind of music really that there is.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I love
and
it.
just like fully engulfing yourself or engrossing,
Everything.
whatever the word is,
I love
into it. And I think that's, you know, and we'll get into the stuff that you're doing now and kind of how your career and life in music has progressed. But I feel like if that stuff doesn't happen, if you're not into all those things, you know, you're probably still in a van driving around screaming into a microphone.
Yeah, which is actually every morning I wake up and that's actually kind of like my fantasy.
Yeah.
It's to burn it all down.
Sure.
And to be in a hardcore band for the rest of my life,
Yeah.
just in a shitty van with my friends. It's like all I care about. It's my fantasy from the moment I wake up to when I go to sleep. I just I want to do it again so bad. And I probably will.
There's still time.
Yeah, there's still yeah. But yeah, I just always loved records like those early like Further Seems Forever records. Shai Hulud was like a big band that got me into like metal and hardcore when I was in late elementary school, which I ended up singing for that band at some point down the road, which is like a big deal for me.
Yeah.
Because without that band, there is no punk or hardcore for me at all. Like at all. I wouldn't have found like Newfound Glory without that band. I wouldn't like that band changed my life. Absolutely. But yeah, I think that like if you're kind of raised in an environment that like kind of like is like middle class suburban neglect, you're gonna like become utterly obsessed with art and romanticize it and just like kind of find your identity.
Yeah, you get something to like grab onto and like you know,
Yeah, it becomes your identity. And it's so weird because now I see like bands or I see like artists or rappers or just like creatives in general, and they create art in such a passive way.
Yeah.
And I'm just like so far from thinking like that. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
This was our identity. This was everything. Like these stupid fucking songs this is like our weapon.
Yeah.
We are like wielding
Sure.
in this basement, and we are going to take this across the country and swing it as hard as we
Take over
can.
the world.
Yes. Like this is the point.
Yeah.
Like, so it's weird, like seeing like young creatives now, they're just like, and maybe it's better. I'm not sure to comment on that, but it is kind of interesting just being like,
to not be obsessive.
you just like
over
made a
something.
song today and just like did something else.
Yeah. Did something else, like went for a walk.
Yeah. It's like, no.
Yeah.
This is all I think about and all I care about.
The Mayo Performing Arts Center is the heart of arts and entertainment in Morristown, New Jersey. MPAC presents over 200 events annually and is home to an innovative children's arts education program. To see MPAC's upcoming schedule of world-class concerts, stand-up comedy, family shows, and more, head to mayoarts.org or just click the link in our show notes.
Looking to buy, sell, or rent in Monmouth or Ocean counties? Megan Carroll of RE/MAX Elite brings local expertise and personalized service. Megan will make your real estate process smooth and stress-free. Bringing Southern hospitality to the Jersey Shore, call Megan today at 732-508-7402 or visit her website at mcsellsbythesea.com.
I have a question. So you mentioned before, like you're doing your thing, and then you see bands like Gaslight and these other bands that are kind of giving you like a roadmap into like what you personally can do. But I'm curious because
It just showed me the natural evolution.
what the evolution can be, like, and see where you could go if you decided to go down that road.
Yeah.
But I'm curious on like the other side, because there's also the scene here in this area, like peers, people around here, like were there anybody else that like maybe bandmates or whatever, but like people that were either our age or older than you that were kind of like influential for you in your career, maybe like at this point in time, or maybe even before that or after that or whatever?
Like personally?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's this producer. You have to get this guy on the podcast, by the way.
Okay. Send an intro. I'm in.
He is the glue that has been keeping Central Jersey even like just the Garden State music scene together and alive for like 30 years now. And his name is Pete Andrews.
Okay.
He's a producer, engineer. This is, by the way, this is a person that there aren't words so no matter what I say,
it's just not going to do it.
It's just not even close. Yeah. And anyone who listens to this will agree. It's just, and it almost, like, the problem almost is in explaining him is that he is so humble and would just be like, what are you talking about? Like, but everyone else knows. Like, and he's a producer, engineer, mix engineer, master engineer, but he's like probably the best drummer, like, in New Jersey. I'm not even kidding. So he's like a session drummer, and he was my mentor for a very long time. And he recorded a lot of my early all those hardcore records. He produced and recorded all those when we were kids, all the way up until like my latest stuff. Yeah. Now he has touched everything, all the hip hop stuff, all the hardcore stuff. The Jailbirds LP, he recorded that with, like, Danny Clinch came to his studio. Yeah. But he has done that for everybody involved. And he was somebody who would always just let me sit in his studio, which is like an A-list studio in Middletown. Yeah. With thousands of pieces of gear and guitars and he would just let me sit in that studio and watch him mix. And I grew up in that studio just like learning and picking things apart while he's working with other people. And he was always there to keep his door open, to let me, to encourage me to be like, I think I'm going to try this. Like, I'm really fucking with these Bright Eyes records, and like, and you think it'd be weird? Like, I've been doing this hardcore thing and people like it. Now I'm just like a singer. Yeah. And he's like, no, let's go. Yeah. Like, he was that dude who would just even like with the hip hop stuff that I'm doing now, like, just always encouraging and supportive. And now I'm a producer. That's like my job. And he's just always there to be like, what's this? Like, how should I do this? And he just taught me how to exist pretty much in this realm in such a beautiful way, because he's such a helping, beautiful person. Like, when you're in his studio, you feel weird cursing. Like, you just want to, like, provide such a good atmosphere for him. Yeah. He just brings the best out of you. His name is Pete Andrews, Submergent Recordings in Middletown, New Jersey. You already know this. Everybody listening already knows this, but he is the number one. Number two is Shattered Realm, the hardcore band.
Okay. You mentioned them.
They were the band that I followed around as a kid. I would see Shattered Realm play in Keansburg in, 2005, and they were like the older guys who were already touring the world, playing big festivals in Europe, like touring with like Hatebreed and stuff. Like, they were like the band for me. Yeah. And the members of that band, Chris and Joe, and their little entourage, they were very, very good to my hardcore band. And they plugged us in with promoters all over this country. And Joe did a feature on on our LP, and it really opened up the horizons and like kind of like made us a real band. Yeah. And they really, 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 even to this day, like, showed us and continue to like show us the way forward. Yeah. Like, they really were like, they were just like, nah, fuck that, sing, do that shit. We love Springsteen. We love all that. You just be your fucking self, man. Yeah. Whatever you want to do it. We back you. Yeah. And they're like the hardest hardcore band like on the planet. So if they tell me to do it, I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna try this, you know? Fast forward, now we're like doing the Pony, and like 1,000 tickets are sold, and they're all backstage, and we're just hanging out. It's just like they were just very supportive, and they still are. Yeah. They're just like the best. But,
that's amazing. And I feel like anyone that does anything creative, like, you need people like that. Like, because you can, like you said, you were talking about before, like, writing songs or doing stuff in your basement and then go take over the world. But like, you know, there's like a limit to what only one person can do. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, who else is going to show you you know?
Actually, there's this guy, his name is Paul Brown. He's from Atlantic City. He's like Atlantic City. He's probably the fucking mayor at this point. I don't know. He's just like this. He's just like this beautiful person. He ran 1787 Collective, which is this hardcore adjacent booking company. Okay. In this like little dive bar in Atlantic City in front of the Taj Mahal. Sure. and it was kind of became like the CBGBs of like South Jersey, like big tour packages coming through, playing this like 100 cap little tiki shack, and but he sang for Shattered Realm at a point, and he actually, I've never told this story. This is actually interesting.
Is great,
this is an exclusive. This is actually pretty interesting. I remember, I don't know where to start here. I'm like, he was responsible for my hardcore band doing cool things. He put us on all the cool shows. And then one day we broke up, and I told him, I confessed to him, I'm like, I want to be a singer-songwriter. What do you think of that? And he was very like, do it. And I'm getting emotional thinking about this. He was so kind and so cool, and I really looked up to these people. I like needed this. I needed this. And because I'm when I say I was not good, I really like was not good. like you know how like people around here, they may be like, I'm not that good, I'm cutting my teeth. Like,
sure.
No, I was living in a van for 6 years screaming. Like there was no, I didn't hear melodies. I just knew power chords. So for him to encourage me, this was like a big deal. So, so next thing you know, he texts me and he goes, I have a show that I just booked. It's Vinny from the Movie Life, and I'm the Avalanche, and Jeff from Thursday. They're playing solo, and I just booked them in a big hall that holds like 500 people in Atlantic City. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Like, cool. Jeff is the reason why I'm like me. You know what I mean? And he's like, I want you to play it. And I'm like, well, our band just broke up. He's like, no. I want you to play it.
Oh, boy.
Solo. Big problem. See, you go, oh, boy. Yeah. So now we have a big problem.
Sure. We better figure this shit out
We have
quick.
A big problem, dog. And I'm like, but I don't do anything. I still don't have songs for the show. Yeah. See, you see my dilemma here. I have not changed. I'm like, okay. And they're playing acoustic too, no band. So it's just a solo show. It's gonna sell out. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be crazy. I was in like Brooklyn Vegan and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I gotta figure this out. So I agree to it. And I'm freaking out for like a full month. I'm like, dog, every time I sing it gets worse. Like I didn't even have a guitar. I had to like go get a guitar. So I like somehow write 5 songs, I guess, whatever. So he calls me and he goes, the show's about to go on sale. We need, like, what is your name? You know what I mean? What is your name? Like, what is your, I think that he was probably like, this is a big problem. I didn't think this
really didn't think this one through. Throw this kid to the wolves.
So.
You're how old at this point?
18, 19.
Oh, okay. So this is
18.
A lot for a kid.
But the band was like doing well.
Sure.
So I knew people were going to come.
Yeah.
For me and stuff. So I was like, oh, this is like a really good opportunity. So, and this pivotal moment of my life, I was like going through like an Elliott Smith phase and like a brooding Leonard Cohen type of phase. Where I was like, my artist name is going to be Matthew Carlock. Like very like, ooh,
how mysterious.
Yeah. I'm Matthew Carlock of this band. And he went, cool, perfect. And then the flyer came out and it said Matty Carlock. And he picked my name.
There you go.
To this day, people are like, Matty.
Yeah.
And everyone in my life goes, they don't call me that. People call me Matt.
Yeah.
And that's because of Paul. Paul just went, yeah, Matthew Carlock, cool story. Let me just save you right now. And he put Matty Carlock. And the show went amazing. I'm pretty sure it sold out. All of my friends came. Like, people were so supportive of me, and it was just like a life-changing alley-oop that those Shattered Realm guys like did for me. And it just, and I started a relationship with Jeff and Vinny and they were like this, you know what I mean? But,
Sure.
yeah.
A little Matty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This may be a hard question to answer because it's gonna make you be very like introspective.
No.
So you're doing.
I will answer anything.
Okay, so you're doing all these things, like you're in the punk side, and then you're making this transition in between Paul and I think what was the
Pete,
and all these other people. Like you say that you want to make this transition into singing, actually, and they've never really seen you sing.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, do it.
That was the first time I sang.
Yeah.
That any of my friends
in front
heard.
of 500 people.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what do you think about, what is it about you that you think made them give you that, like, push? Just from, like, an artistic thing, like, go get it, like, just go try it, like, what's the worst that can happen kind of thing? Or do you think it was more along the lines of, like, they maybe saw something in you that you didn't really see in yourself?
It could be that. I just think that our crew at that time was just like a force of nature not to be fucked with. Like, we were so devoted to art and so, like, really, like, I mean, this was at Paul booked shows at this place, the Boneyard, which is next to Taj Mahal. I mean, I was at every single show to the point where I was, like, sleeping at the Starbucks, had this little nook in the Taj Mahal, and I would just, like, sleep there.
Yeah.
Like, I was, like, so devoted and just so over the top, like, passionate about this dream and this vision, and just, but not in a career way. Like, I never really wanted a career in music.
Sure.
I just had this, like, burning desire of art.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something to believe in, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I was not good. There were not songs. The band was good, and people liked the records. So there was a fan base there.
Yeah.
Prior to that. And by fan base, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like a DIY fan base. So I think that people who are a little bit older see a young kid with that type of burning desire. And I see it now, too, with people who are younger than me. I'm like, this guy's going to smoke something soon.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. He's going to smoke something.
Yeah. Like, they're just, you know, like you said, force of nature. Like, there's no way they can't.
They're not,
while they're going, they can't hit something.
They don't have it figured out now.
Yeah.
But they're going to.
Right.
They just need this little thing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I just think that I don't even think it's a me thing. I just think that it just made sense. It could have been somebody else, but it was just like how much that I cared was just something to believe in.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so at what point?
Or maybe it wasn't, but
sure.
But
yeah. Maybe it could have been just from like an art perspective. But I do agree with you that, like, especially people that have been around a scene for a while and they see people that are either like you said, you see like creators today and they're like, you know, passively creating and whatever, and they're not like obsessed by it. And then people that are obsessed with shit love other people that are obsessed with shit.
Yeah, like, you know? It's, if I see somebody extremely, extremely, extremely inspired in a non-music industry way, which I'm in the music industry, so I see the worst of it.
Yep.
If I see a kid who doesn't even know this is happening in the music industry, just like working on records and just like really gives a fuck about art, that inspires me, and I want to be a part of that.
Yeah. See what you can do to help, you know.
I will immediately connect that person with like somebody who can help them immediately. Yeah. Like, and I will go to a show, I will buy the cassette, I will buy the vinyl. I want to like be a part of that.
Yeah. And so I guess my next question would be, so like you play this show in Atlantic City and you say you're not good. At what point do you think you start getting good and like things start to click for you where you're like, now you feel like you're not, you know, the fish out of the water in these scenarios, but now you like officially belong in order to do the type of stuff that you're trying to do? And maybe
I didn't.
You don't even feel that way now. I mean, like that could be it too. which I don't think that's true, but
it's funny because when I go back and I listen to my records, I'm like, man, there's so many fuck ups in this. Like, but I'm like, oh, we got this one right. We didn't get this one right. And you can hear us trying to figure this out in real time. But from that moment, I went on the road. I tapped all of the promoters and friends that I made for like the years prior in hardcore, and I supported all of my friends' hardcore bands with an acoustic, which is impossible to do. So we're talking about weird Midwestern cities. I'm opening up for hardcore bands with an acoustic, which I did that for 4 years straight in my, like, just in my car.
Yeah.
By myself for 4 years with my merch bag, like a vagabond. And it just, I just had to learn how to be louder. I had to learn how to, these people do not want me there.
Like,
you know what I mean?
What the fuck
like
is this
they
kid doing? Yeah.
They want to kill each other.
Yeah.
To the band after me.
Right.
And I'm corny and I need to figure out right now how to do this. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And I did that day in and day out for 4 years until I just like figured out how to like be a good performer. Because I know what they want because I was the hardcore band.
Yep.
And dude, if I showed up as, I would be like, get this guy the fuck out of here, fam. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It would be, I would be like, no, I can't do this. So I just completely understood, and I just like really got in the van. And in a moment where I could have been like, all right, I'm going to go work at Starbucks. My band didn't work. I just printed more merch, tapped all my friends in the country and in Canada, and I just leaned into it more, and I really, really whittled down this thing, and I didn't have a record out.
Yeah.
So I wrote the songs based off of the live experience, and I really was like sleeping on pavement in like Texas or in like Quebec City by myself, like with a notebook and like a merch bag in my car.
Right.
For years, like, if you don't get good from that experience, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's
Pack
a
it
wrap.
up.
That is like the ultimate grinder of figure this shit out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was just no other option.
Totally.
I didn't have any skills. Like, I've been doing this since like 4th grade pretty much. Like, there was no other option. But then there was a time where I eventually started coming home and I started recording with Pete, and I learned a lot from Pete. He knew how to make these records and like facilitate my ideas and my vision. He was like, okay, I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
And so I figured out how to get good enough to make the demo.
Sure.
And then the Shai Hulud thing happened, where I went on tour with Shai Hulud as their singer. So now all of a sudden I'm on this like big rock and roll tour all through Europe. It was like 15 countries, and we supported Funeral for a Friend, which is like a big rock band there. So we're doing the O2 circuit. I'm in front of like 10,000 people every night, just in this like and I come home from that and I do another full US by myself in my car. And then I did a full Canadian with a full US after that. And then there was this really interesting moment that changed my life forever. And I just think that people who are older than me and more established just saw the insanity of my reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, this guy, this kid is out of his fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like, hasn't been home. And like, what is he? Is he okay? Like it was insane, dude. And by the way, no money.
Right.
No money. And I was staying, I finally got home, and I was staying in Staten Island at my grandfather's. And my grandfather was on his, this is pretty crazy. He was in the hospital. He was on his deathbed. And this is a guy who, this total, it's like the best person alive. If you knew me, you knew him. Yeah. So this is like a big deal that this was happening.
Sure.
On his deathbed, he had a house, he had like a townhouse in Staten Island. And I was staying in his townhouse in Staten Island because they had the free train.
Okay.
Staten Island has like the free train to the ferry. and if you hop the turnstile, you can get into Manhattan. So I was like, okay, like, you know, just another lick. You know what I mean? Just another
always up to schemes.
Just like a piece of shit, full of shit kid. Just like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. And I would stop at this deli on the walk to the train, just day in and day out going to Manhattan. And I was on this tour. Stop me if I'm talking too much.
No, you're doing great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was on this tour, and I was playing the Map Room in the Bowery Electric.
Okay.
It was my last day on tour, so I was staying in Staten Island, and Jeff Raspy, the Brookdale Radio,
okay,
he asked me to come in to do an interview. So I go in and do this interview. Very feral, very like, just like, I don't know. I could stab somebody tonight. You know what I mean? For food, you know, like. I've been around the world and back. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So he's like, I want to introduce you to my cousin. This is after. He's like, I want to introduce you to my cousin. But on the radio, he was comparing me to Fallon, to Dave Haas, and these troubadour people, post-hardcore, get in the van type acoustic guys.
Yeah. He's
like, I want to introduce you to my cousin. And I'm like, okay, we'll meet your cousin. And I was like, he's like, when's the next time you're playing New York? I was like, tomorrow. He's like, where are you playing? And I'm like, the Map Room. He's like, perfect. That's his venue. And I'm like, your cousin owns a venue?
All right, I'll meet your cousin. Yeah.
I was like, I can't even believe I'm in a venue. I've been playing fucking houses and basements and fucking Idaho and stuff like that. Like, and he's like, my cousin's Jesse Malin, and I think he would really fuck with your shit. And next thing you know, he brings Jesse, gives Jesse my demo that I made with Pete, and now I'm playing the Map Room to literally nobody. Like, not like the sound guy left.
Yeah.
To nobody, and in walks Jeff with Jesse Malin, and they watch my set, and Jesse put me on a sold-out show of his that Friday.
Wow.
And from that moment, everything changed.
Yeah.
Everything changed. All the touring, everything just got enough attention to where it led to that moment. And that was probably on a Monday. That Friday or Saturday, I was opening up for him personally at like a private show in New York City. Rich people are there. People with like, they look like Cruella de Vil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm there with like my hardcore friends are like doing merch for me, and they're yelling at ladies like, "Hey, yo, buy this shit, fam!" But they're just like spilling beer. You know what I mean? It's just total feral animals around like real music industry people.
People.
Total. And the set went well.
Yeah.
And it was off to the races from there.
Yeah. And so
but to answer your question, that was when I felt like I'm getting good at this.
Yeah, something clicked.
Because I turned a trick live.
Sure.
And Jesse came, it got Jesse's attention, and he was like, this is, for some reason, he believed in it and started putting me on shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think, too, like, as you were telling those stories and, you know, talking about, like, the big rock tour, like, through Europe and whatever, and, you know, like, it could have been, I don't know, easy to just be like, hey, I did that. Like, we're just going to keep doing that. And, you know, but
they asked me, they're like, do you want to be the full-time singer? And I said no.
Yeah.
Because
I'd rather go live in my car around the country.
Straight up. I was like, no, my demo just came out.
Yeah.
And they were like,
sure.
That's adorable. Your little demo just came out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, yeah, my demo. I was just so devoted to like art that I just did not care that we were like playing to like thousands of people in like Romania and stuff. I just did not care, man.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no point. I did not write these songs.
Yeah.
The point is this.
Right.
Yeah.
So then at what point, like, in this trajectory of life, do you move to LA? Just so I can have like a timeline.
So this is where things started getting kind of weird, where, so I don't have an LP. I just have this shitty demo, and I'm playing these like really big concerts with like rock shows with Jesse Malin. I'm opening these shows, and now I'm like at the Stone Pony singing Clash covers with Brian Fallon, but I'm also opening the show, like, and people are like, this is like the new kid in this lane.
Yeah.
So I go and make my LP. Jesse does a verse on the LP. So he gives me a verse, which he doesn't do that often at all. Like,
Yeah.
so having a song with him on the album. And then Danny Clinch did the same thing. Is she okay?
Okay, see ya. Thank you.
What's her name? Margot?
Margot. Shout out Margot again.
Shout out Margot.
Also, shout out to Berkeley again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told them we would give a bunch of plugs and we'll run an ad for them. Or
We
whatever.
love it. We'll do a
Yeah.
photo shoot and everything.
Yeah, totally.
And then Danny played harmonica and did a verse on the LP as well. P from the Souls helped record. And then Jared Hart from the Scandals and Mercy Union, he did a verse. And all these artists, all these features did videos as well. So it just kind of created this momentum.
Yeah.
And we started we were just like off to the races. So at the same time, coming back to hardcore, my friend Joe from Shattered Realm has a split. And on the song, there's a song called Bring the Violence Back. Now, on the beginning of that song, there's a rapper kind of like shit talking on it, on some like, I'm going to kill you shit.
Yeah.
And he just had this lore where like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, this is like terrifying. He's a local rapper.
Okay.
Who knew Joe from Shattered Realm just on some like street shit from the 90s and early 2000s. And his name is Bulletproof Belv. And through Joe, I connected with Bulletproof Belv here. And I was really, really, really into hip hop production. And by the way, this whole time I'm in the van listening to Nicki Minaj. I'm listening to like pop music. I love
so crazy.
I like love Drake.
Yeah.
Like I love
yeah.
all of this stuff. And for some reason I was just like, I really want to get into hip hop production. And so I reach out to me and Belv get connected. He's a rapper. He's got a little buzz. He rolls with Fetty Wap. And I produced this record, this song for him called Dark City Lights, which is like kind of critically acclaimed in this area.
Okay.
It like did a lot for the community, and it bridged the West Side with the it bridged the two sides of the tracks from like the street culture to like the yuppie culture or whatever.
Sure.
It shined a lot of light on the poets over there, which they're amazing. And I sang on the hook of this song Dark City Lights with Belv. It dropped. It just like became like a underground hit. Mm-hmm. Fetty Wap tapped it. From that moment on, we're with Fetty Wap. We're on the radio. We're on like Shade 45. I'm in the Source magazine. I'm in magazines as like a producer.
Sure.
I don't know how this happened. At the same time as doing the singer-songwriter stuff. So I worked my whole life trying to be fucking Leonard Cohen, and now I'm a rapper.
Right.
I just got like kidnapped into this. So now I'm like at like Hot 97 events. I'm like on red carpets. I'm like meeting all these like executives and stuff.
Sure.
I'm in like Quad Studio. It became pretty weird, and I just wanted to like be a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
So these two careers happened at the same time. And my manager at the time was already living in LA, and she was managing a lot of so this is probably like 2017, 18, 19 pandemic. I moved during the pandemic to answer your question.
Yeah.
Because a European tour I had as a singer-songwriter got canceled. My manager was already out there, and she was managing, she's out of the business now, but she was managing producers and songwriters who are like controlling the charts and stuff.
Sure.
Like my first session, I'm watching like Teddy Swims cut vocals before he's famous.
Yeah.
And I was there for like 2 days. Like, and she's like running this whole entire operation. She was like, I think you should just move out here, and I'll just throw you into the room and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Because you already have songs with Fetty Wap, Casanova, and like you're kind of like being kidnapped into this. So let's see what we can make of it. And I never came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So these two careers
Like happening
at the same time.
Yeah.
And they still are. It's very
weird.
Yeah, it is weird. It's weird to like manage it too. It's like kind of like
Sure. Because it's like, what are you, like, which bucket are you filling up? You
Exactly.
know? Or like, what are you spending the time, like, you know, I guess, I don't know if this is something that you're thinking about, like, where's the money? Where's this? Where's, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just so cool because it all just goes back to the stuff that we were talking about before, just like, obsessed. And like if you're around stuff enough, eventually you run across the right person or the right people or whatever.
Yeah.
And then something happens, and the next thing you know, you're in a room with bigger people, and then like they know more, and it just,
Yeah,
the
it
wheel
just.
keeps spinning.
But a lot of people, like, while it was happening, while this shift was happening, like, Danny Clinch was very, 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 very supportive, calling me. He was setting up meetings for me. Like, he was just like, you need to go down this path. Like, you're, like, very encouraging, the same way the hardcore dudes were. There was just always people in my corner supporting this like market change, or like this new journey I was going on.
Yeah, totally.
But I never was not doing. There was never a time in my life where I was doing only one or two things.
Right. Just always a lot of stuff.
Every day for my whole life, I'm working on 3 or 4 genres at once.
Yeah.
Just like closing this session, pulling up this session, closing that, like all of them are moving forward at once. I've never ever focused on one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm releasing music that's hip hop, I'm recording singer-songwriter stuff in this.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So about 2019.
All right. So I just looked at the time. We're at like an hour.
Oh, wow.
That was crazy.
That was quick.
Yeah. So stuff that just came out, stuff that's coming out, like what should people come to expect from you soon? What can they look at now? Like where would you send them to go do stuff?
So I just released a new EP called Brooklyn, which is just a collection of 4 songs that I wrote that just like kind of came to me at like 3 a.m. in my apartment. And I just like wrote and recorded them, and they were just demos, and I didn't plan on putting them out, and I just felt really attached to them. So I produced them myself, mixed them myself, just in my apartment, and I put them out, and people seem to be like a cathartic response to that, which makes me really happy because that was the plan. I didn't want to have like a music industry moment. I just wanted to put out these little love songs.
Yeah.
And now I'm working on the Jailbirds 2, which is my second LP. It's being mixed now, and that's 10 or 11 songs.
Awesome.
So hopefully that will be out in the summer. And then full band shows will follow, and just, I don't know, I'm sure there will be some madness involved in all of this.
Yeah, it seems like there's just perpetual madness.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yeah, and hopefully my apartment is still there. So
yeah,
all this
I
stuff.
hope so. Well, good luck with that. Yeah. And then if you want people to learn more, socials, website, if you send anybody to any place.
Don't think I have a website, but at Matty Carlock, MattyCarlock on pretty much everything. I think YouTube is, you can find me through my name, but 115 Collective is my record label.
Okay.
And I think that's the YouTube, unless it's not, but I mean,
Sure.
you can.
We'll find it.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that I put the links and stuff in the show notes so people just go click. But this has been great. It was really great.
This is so fun.
Getting to know you more. Because like, I mean, I kind of got to know you a little bit, but
I'm an easy guy to miss.
Yeah.
I'm an easy guy to miss.
well, like
yeah.
once I got under the hood, I was like, oh shit, like there's a lot. Like, once we started, I was
Really?
like,
You were
we're gonna
just
go
like,
for a while here.
It's like, damn.
yeah. Well, like, I mean, I forget what the first story that you told. I was just like, all right, this is gonna be an interesting ride.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you for having me. This
this
is
has been
amazing.
great,
I don't
so-
think I've sat down and done this.
Is it interesting? Because like, I mean, I've guested on podcasts in the past, but not any recently. And like, even then, it was me talking about like podcasting, or me talking about my old full-time job, or like in title insurance. And like when I hear people tell their stories, I'm always just like, you tell your story really well,
Thank
which
you.
is amazing, and not everyone can do that well. But I also like look back on my life, and I'm just like, what the fuck would I even talk about? You know, like what's my story? So then I like start to think about it more. But to hear you tell it is great.
Thank you. Well, you're good. You know where to pivot to and like what to talk about, because I just don't think anybody will ever care to where I don't even.
That's what
like,
everyone says.
The more, if I even think about myself at all, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, buddy.
But I do think that like your story,
Just shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your story with the people that were reaching and all that kind of stuff, like that's going to resonate with one person, you know?
Yeah, I hope.
And then, like we were talking about before, like it's once you see someone that's kind of either been where you are or done what you've done, and then watching them progress and kind of getting like the blueprints and all the stuff that we were talking about before, like that's important, you know?
Well, if anybody is listening, one thing that I think is missing that is a key to success in this area, specifically Asbury Park. If you're a young creative and you're looking to really do this for real and you're obsessed with art and you're obsessed with songs and lyrics and photography and just like art as a whole, don't wait for these fucking venues. Don't wait for these promoters. Don't wait to be put on shows. Skip all of that. Find a house on the west side and start booking basement shows immediately, because everything in these venues, all the people who go to these venues, go to these shows, and go to these corporate concerts at House of Independence, all these people go to the shows at the Stone Pony, Wonder Bar, anywhere. They will shift to you, and they will start coming to these basement shows, because that's where the real art will be.
Yeah.
So don't wait for all this shit. Start booking your own $5 punk shows in these basements, just like everybody was doing in the 2000s in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
That's where you got My Chem. That's where you got Thursday. That's where you got the Bouncing Souls. Do that here. I've not seen people do it yet.
Yeah.
And there's so many young people here.
You know, to like, and I think
it just takes one genius to just kind of.
Yeah.
So don't wait. That's all I have to say is just do that immediately, and you will win. And you'll change your life.
Yeah. And as you told, there's really no shortcut to the success. It's like,
I think that's the shortcut.
Yeah. You'll do it that way.
That's the shortcut, because you're taking matters into your own hands.
Yeah. Controlling it more.
Yeah. And you're doing something that's brand new to the market, and doing something that's brand new to the consumers that are so used to just going to shows at the Stone Pony. Like you're going to have this special thing that people don't know about.
Yeah.
That the real art is there.
Yeah.
And people are going to want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And it'll change your life, because you'll learn how to book shows. You'll learn how to market with flyers and utilizing social media. You'll learn how to be an amazing band, because you're playing against the odds.
Right.
And you'll start a whole new wave, and you'll be out of here, and it'll be on your terms.
Yeah, totally. Like I've especially, I know we ended this episode like 20 minutes ago, but like I've also
that was my mission statement.
Yeah, no, I love it, and like I am especially since I got laid off from my full-time job in October 23, and have been on my own since then without like the safety net of what we do, and I have firmly believe that like no one's gonna give you a seat at their table, so just build your own fucking table and then invite people to come sit at it. Like that's the only way to like you kind of what you were saying, like the shortcut to success. Just like make it yourself and then build it the way that you think, you know, and maybe you fail and you know.
Well, no, you have to fail.
There's plenty of that.
You have to fail to learn how to do it right.
Yeah.
You have to fail. This is what we call, and we can end here, is this is what we say. We say, nothing's real. Fuck the bastards.
I like that.
Fuck the bastards.
Sure.
Do it yourself.
Awesome. Well, this has been the Greetings from the Garden State podcast, powered by the New Jersey Lottery. Thank you again to Margot and the Berkeley for having us in this sweet room. And like these chairs were over in the corner, and I wanted it like I didn't want the mirror in the back. I wanted this Johnny Cash picture in the back. And like sitting on the Wonder Bar stools earlier today, recording with Felipe, like my ass was hurting.
Yeah.
So I was like, these nice throne like chairs.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, phenomenal.
Yeah. I walked in. I'm like, oh damn, look at this. Look at this. This is some for little old me.
This is a real important show.
I was like, let me go run and get us coffees.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Awesome. So again, we'll make sure that we put all the links to Matty's stuff in the show notes. You could just go check it out. We'll put greetingsfromthegardenState.com in the show notes as well, so you can go check out all of our other episodes. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is episode 160. So there's a lot of stuff to go back through and check out. And I appreciate you doing this with us today.
Of course.
Sweet. Awesome. Again, thanks to the Berkeley. Thank you to Matty. I'm Mike Cam. This has been the Greetings from the Garden State podcast, powered by the New Jersey Lottery. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Gang shit.